My name is Xʷəlipəlwət to start with. It was my great-grandmother's name. My European name is Angel Sampson. And I'm from the Xʷəlipəlwət First Nations community. My dad was Coast Salish. My mother was Nez Perce from Idaho. So that's my background. When we first began working on the class action suit for the Indian Day School experience, I actually started it long before the McLean class action suit came forward. I started about 25 years ago now, having meetings with local people that went to the Xʷəlipəlwət Indian Day School, and we would meet at the cultural building, and I wanted to create a dialogue where we could figure out what we could do to take an action against what we experienced. And we didn't have anybody to lean on. We had no counselor, we had no therapist, nobody to kind of guide us through that experience. So we went in kind of blind and not fully understanding what we were actually trying to do. And so when the day school class action suit really started to come about was, I think it was around 2009. So Gary, Gary McLean, he was the head plaintiff for our action, and he was the one that took it upon himself, along with a couple other people, and they went to Gowling, WLG, and sought some consultation with them, and they had a lot of experience, and the action moved rather quickly, which I was glad about, because so many of our people have been dying off and will never ever see, any resolve to what they went through, what they experienced. So the day school class action suit, which Gary got going for us, was the best thing that could have happened. Gary was such a good friend. All these years that we worked together to work with the lawyers to get this action happening. And he shared his story with us, and it was really, really hard. Like, we all went through bad stuff. But for me, it's really hard to hear about happening to the boys. What they had to experience. And I know some of the boys that I went to school with experienced the same thing. It was hard. But
that's something that had to be shared with the lawyers. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So I'm thankful for him. I feel Gary around me all the time when I share my story, and I draw on the strength that he had because he had so much forgiveness. And I said to him, I said, I don't know how you do it, Gary. I said, I can't bring myself to forgive those people. That was too hard. It was too much to go through. And it impacted not just me, but my husband, my son, my grandchildren, every relationship I had, and didn't have because of that. Because growing up, I never had friends. We weren't allowed to have friendships in the school. They were too scared of us turning to our culture. They were too scared of us speaking the language. So whenever we'd get in groups of more than two, they separated us. And you just kind of wandered on the playground, you didn't make friends. So Gary's strength gives me strength today when I'm helping people do their final form. And that's, like I said, there's not long and the deadline's coming. And I really want our people to tell it all because they are deserving. We were all deserving of the maximum amount. I believe this final form, it's a stage that you have to go through in order to get the settlement. But I think it's a starting point for many of our people to begin their healing of what happened, to actually say it out loud if only to themselves, if they're saying it as they're writing it and remembering it all, because it's a tough thing to do. And I don't think people fully understand the various pages that are all compiled in this final form, how you need to write your narrative and how others need to write a narrative for you. So there's a lot of information to go over, and I think having completed mine and received my settlement and everything, I think I'd have a little bit of insight to hopefully help some of the people get through that. It's about a 7-8 minute walk from here. The last little bit of the day school is still standing, and I'm petitioning to get that removed. It's just a constant reminder to a lot of us. I don't know why they want to keep it there. What keeps them wanting it in place? Because it holds such bad memories for so many of us. I mean, it was the last part of the school that's left. And that building is the building I was in the day that Sister Margaret just about killed me. So that was, that is a constant reminder for me. And I don't know why they want to hang on to it. A lot of the kids I went to school with can't believe it's there either. My goal was to build a survivors museum there, where people would come and learn a little bit about our history. And considering the changes coming up this fall with the new curriculum, the grade 11 and 12 students are going to have to learn about our history. I mean, this is an opportune time. We could destroy that building and put something in place that would be educational, not just for our children and the 4 communities that were under that umbrella of that school, but also the non-First Nations people. They could come there and learn more about our experiences, why things happened the way they were, why we were segregated, There's so much history that could be shared. And I think that kind of a building would be far better than what's in place right now.
I've tried to convey a message to all survivors on my Facebook page and on the Xwélipəlwət Facebook page and the Xwélipəlwət Facebook page. And I've put a message out there to all survivors that we need to share and we need to tell our stories as they happened in our final form, and to be courageous and to be strong in their heart and mind, to know that our telling is only going to make things better for us as an individual and for our families, our children and grandchildren, and for our community as a whole. We can all begin to heal by taking that one step and taking the action that we need to take in telling the truth about what we experienced, and that it's going to be a good thing in the end. It's going to be something that we'll look back on and thinking, thank goodness I got the courage to get that off my shoulders, take that deep breath and just say, it's done now. It's done now, and I've said what I've had to say, because this was our action against the Canadian government, who should still be hearing our story. They should hear it firsthand from us. But I'm happy knowing that I did my story in the best of my ability and in as much detail as possible, because I don't want them to ever forget what they put us through, what they made us endure, and the abuses that stemmed from that experience, not just what we experienced, but what our children and grandchildren then had to put up with, you know, and our friendships that went awry for whatever reason. People didn't understand why I couldn't make friends. It was hard. It was really hard. But I think if I can encourage one person to tell the truth, I will have then helped someone gain a little bit more peace in their life. And that's what my hope is for them.